When I am weak, do I dare to believe that God is my strength? Hello. Welcome to Peter and Paul, a place where hearts find peace and souls rediscover hope. Here we share stories of faith, moments of love, whispers of peace, and the quiet beauty of joy. Whether you are walking through storms or standing in the light, may every word spoken here remind you, you are not alone, and faith will guide you home. Take a deep breath. Open your heart. Faith in the midst of human weakness. There are days when we feel completely drained, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We try to stay strong, to keep standing amidst life's storms, but eventually we must admit we are weak, not only in body, but in faith, in willpower, in our longing to live a meaningful life. In those moments of exhaustion, a quiet question rises within us. When I am weak, do I dare to believe that God is my strength? Or somos mandi tipo? This simple question opens the door to a profound spiritual journey. For faith is not measured by how many days we triumph, but by how we respond when we fall. When human strength runs out, that is when the grace of God begins to work. Weakness, a part of being human. Human beings were never meant to be all-powerful. Weakness is part of our nature. It teaches humility, compassion, and dependence. Through our limitations, we discover our need for someone greater, a source of strength beyond reason and flesh, God Himself. Each of us carries our own frailties, an old wound that never healed, a hidden fear, an unforgotten failure, a loss that words cannot mend. Yet those very wounds are the openings through which grace enters. As St. Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 12:10. This is not a paradox. It is a divine truth. True strength begins when we stop relying on ourselves and start relying on God. When life knocks us down, some people lose everything: their job, their home, their loved ones. Others live with illness, loneliness, betrayal, or rejection. For many, life becomes a silent wall, where prayers seem to echo unanswered. In those moments, faith is tested to its core. We ask, where is God? Why is He silent? But in that silence, God often works most profoundly. Like a seed buried deep underground, it looks lifeless, yet it is preparing to sprout. Faith is not a feeling of excitement. It is a choice to trust, even when nothing makes sense. God never promised a life free of suffering, but He did promise this: you will never be alone. He may not calm every storm, but He gives you wings to rise above it, to believe in God, to let go into His hands. To believe that God is my strength is not a slogan of comfort. It is an act of surrender, of courage. It means admitting, I am not strong enough to save myself. I am not wise enough to control everything. It means daring to bow down so that God may lift you up, to be still so that He may act. Faith does not erase reason, it elevates it beyond fear. It helps us see life through the eyes of love. When we trust, our hearts find peace even in pain, because we know that every trial has meaning in God's plan. To believe is to allow God to lead us on unexpected paths, sometimes away from what we desire, but always toward who we are meant to become. It is to let Him turn failure into growth, suffering into maturity, tears into seeds of hope. Stories of faith. Think of Job, a righteous man who lost everything: his wealth, his children, his health. Yet in his despair, Job said, "Though He slay me, yet will I hope in Him." That is not blind faith. It is the fruit of a soul refined by fire, a soul that has learned that God is the ultimate meaning of all things. Or think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. He prayed, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." At the weakest moment of the Son of God, the strength of faith shone brightest. When we say yes to God in our pain, we reflect His image most clearly. For true strength is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to trust in the midst of fear, God's strength in our daily lives. Today, the world often defines strength as success, status, or power. But the strength of a Christian is inner strength, born from knowing we are loved unconditionally. A mother who smiles while caring for her sick child and still believes in God's mercy. A father who loses his job but continues to pray with his family each night. A young person misunderstood, yet choosing honesty and kindness. These are the heroes of faith, weak in the eyes of the world, but mighty in grace. God does not ask us to be extraordinary. He only asks us to be authentic and trusting. When a heart rests in His hands, even the smallest act becomes extraordinary. When weakness becomes a bridge to God, weakness is not something to be ashamed of. It is an invitation, a pathway to intimacy with God. If we were never weak, we might never seek Him. If we never failed, we might never know mercy. If we never cried, we might never realize that God wipes away our tears every day. In every wound we bear, there is a wound of Christ that aches with us, and in every wrong turn, there is a gentle hand guiding us home. To believe that God is our strength is to let Him rewrite our story, not with the ink of human effort, but with the ink of divine love. Faith, the light in the darkness. Some people say, "I will believe when I see a miracle." But Jesus said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." The greatest miracle is not the moving of mountains or the calming of seas, but the transformation of a heart. When we are weak but still choose to trust, the smallest light shines in the deepest night. Faith does not remove challenges, but it gives us the power to endure them. When God is our strength, what once seemed impossible becomes possible. Fear turns into hope, despair into peace. To trust, to live, to surrender, each of us is walking a personal journey toward meaning. There are times when we are strong and times when we are weak, times when we praise God and times when we question Him. But faith does not require perfection. It only asks for a heart willing to return. When you feel weak, remember, God is not far away. He is in your breath, in your tears, in the arms of those who comfort you, and in the quiet peace that follows prayer. He does not wait for you to be strong to love you. He loves you so that you may become strong. That love transforms everything. Dare to believe that, when I fall, God lifts me up. When I lose my way, God guides me home. When I am weak, God is my strength. Faith does not make life easier, but it makes life possible. It does not take away the storm, but it teaches you how to walk through it. Not by your own strength, but by the strength of the one who loves you, God. Final message. When you feel exhausted and every door seems closed, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and whisper, "Lord, I am weak, but I believe you are my strength." In that quiet moment, you will sense a new power awakening. Not loud or dramatic, but gentle, steady, and deep. like a soft light breaking through the night, like an invisible hand holding your soul. Because faith does not erase weakness, it transforms it into strength. And when you dare to believe that, nothing in this world can truly defeat you. Thank you for spending this moment with Peter and Paul. May your days be filled with faith that lifts, hope that shines, love that heals, and peace that stays. If this message touched your heart, please subscribe, share, or leave a prayer in the comments, because every act of love keeps this light shining. Until next time, stay blessed, stay peaceful, and remember, God is still here. He has never left. He is simply waiting for us to believe.